the most iconic shipwreck in history, the Titanic.
Discovery of the Titanic.
The most exciting part was that it was 100.
Why would a scientist have an interest in a shipwreck that's lying in 4,000 meters of water in the North Atlantic?
The deep sea holds some horrifying ancient secrets we have never been able to access until now. From the shocking state of the Titanic to the terrifying truth about life under the sea, it's all been caught on camera. Join us today as we tell you how an old camera found in the deep ocean revealed horrifying photos of the Titanic. 1. Rediscovering the Titanic.
In those first few moments when you first spotted the Titanic, what went through your head?
Relief. I mean, I had been pursuing that ship for 13 years.
In a moment that captured the imagination of people worldwide, the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution recently released previously unseen footage from the first human-piloted dives to the Titanic wreck site. Thousands tuned in to watch the footage streamed on YouTube, drawn by the mystery and allure surrounding the world's most famous shipwreck. The video, mostly uncut and without narration, reveals haunting, first-hand glimpses of the Titanic resting on the ocean floor, just as explorers witnessed it nearly 4 decades ago. This dive, conducted in July 1986, marked the first time since its tragic sinking in 1912 that the Titanic had been observed up close by human eyes, captured through the lenses of 2 remarkable submersibles, Alvin, a human-occupied deep-sea craft, and Jason Jr., a remotely operated vehicle. The expedition pushed the limits of what underwater exploration could achieve at the time. For the scientists and engineers at WHOI, this mission wasn't just about locating a long-lost vessel. It was about proving that technology could uncover mysteries buried deep within our oceans. Alvin allowed researchers to descend 2.5 miles to the shipwreck site, while Jason Jr., a much smaller robotic vehicle, was able to navigate the narrow, decaying spaces within Titanic's hull. The 1986 footage became a landmark moment in marine science, providing an unprecedented look at the Titanic while sparking global interest in underwater technology. This mission went beyond scientific discovery. It symbolized humanity's unending curiosity about the unknown and our capacity to innovate. As the Titanic gradually emerged from the darkness, the world's fascination grew, transforming the ill-fated ship into an icon of tragedy, resilience, and mystery. 2. The decision to make the footage public.
To coincide with the anniversary, never-before-seen video of the wreck was released this week from the expedition that found the long-lost steamliner.
The decision to release this footage to the public is a fitting tribute to Titanic's lasting legacy, coinciding with the 25th anniversary re-release of James Cameron's 1997 film, Titanic.
Titanic will founder. But this ship can't sink.
She's made of iron, sir. I assure you, she can.
Which redefined cinematic storytelling around historical events. Cameron's film, which dramatized the human stories and tragic events surrounding the Titanic's maiden voyage, has become a cultural touchstone, inspiring fascination and emotional resonance that transcends generations. Cameron himself expressed his awe at the 1986 exploration, describing how he was captivated by Alvin and Jason Jr.'s exploration of the wreck. For him, and for many, the Titanic is more than a shipwreck. It's a symbol of human ambition, vulnerability, and ultimately our respect for the sea's power. The footage's public release marks an opportunity for people around the world to connect with history in a uniquely direct way. Although WHOI recorded these images nearly 40 years ago, much of it remained locked away, accessible only to a select few researchers and maritime historians. By making this footage available, WHOI allows audiences to virtually step into the explorers' shoes, experiencing the eerie, silent scenes that they first saw. For viewers, seeing the Titanic's iconic features, the bow, the grand staircase, and other remnants of luxury lost to the ocean, breathes new life into the story, showing us the vessel as it was when it sank to its grave over a century ago. In his comments on the footage, Cameron remarked on the lasting human stories that Titanic embodies. These stories, preserved in the wreckage and passed down through generations, remind us of both the ship's glamour and its devastating end. as the unfiltered footage transports us back to that fateful night. It provides more than just a historical record. It reconnects us with the lives, dreams, and dramas that ended abruptly in the icy Atlantic. 3. The timeless tragedy of the Titanic. The Titanic story begins with bold ambition. Built in Belfast by the esteemed shipbuilding company Harland & Wolff, the Titanic was a marvel of Edwardian engineering and luxury, hailed as the largest and most opulent passenger liner of its day. As the flagship of the White Star Line, a British shipping company partly owned by American financier J.P. Morgan, Titanic was seen as the pinnacle of modern design, embodying the era's optimism and confidence in technological advancement. Launched on May 31, 1911, Titanic embarked on its maiden voyage from Southampton, England to New York City. On April 10, 1912, aboard were 2,240 passengers and crew members, many lured by its reputation as unsinkable. However, just 4 days into its journey, disaster struck. On the night of April 14, 1912, the Titanic collided with an iceberg in the frigid waters of the North Atlantic. Over the next several hours, the unsinkable ship broke apart and sank, taking more than 1,500 lives with it. The tragedy sent shockwaves around the world, forever changing maritime safety standards and marking the Titanic as a cautionary tale of hubris in the face of nature's power. For over 70 years, the Titanic lay undiscovered on the ocean floor, hidden from human view. Numerous attempts to locate the wreck had failed, keeping the ship's final resting place shrouded in mystery. That changed on September 1, 1985, when a joint American-French expedition, led by Dr. Robert Ballard of WHOI and Jean-Louis Michel of the French Research Institute for Exploration of the Sea, finally found the Titanic.
You won't find bodies at Titanic. You won't find skeletons. The bones actually dissolve into solution very rapidly at that depth. What anybody who's explored the wreck finds is pairs of shoes.
Utilizing then innovative underwater technology, the team captured the first images of the ship lying at rest 12,000 feet below the surface, approximately 350 nautical miles off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. The discovery was a breakthrough, prompting the U.S. Congress to act swiftly. In 1986, they passed the RMS Titanic Maritime Memorial Act, designating the wreck as a site of international significance and encouraging preservation efforts to honor those who perished. As part of these efforts, WHOI placed a plaque at the site to honor the victims, calling for the wreck to be left undisturbed in their memory. Since then, Titanic's story has been revisited in books, documentaries, and museum exhibits, each one adding layers to the narrative of a ship once celebrated as the pinnacle of human achievement. The preservation of the Titanic underwater has changed the way we interact with the world under the sea. We've started treating it like any other destination above the land, and that means that there's a lot more interesting footage making its way to the surface, pun intended. 4. Underwater TV. Scientists have found a creative way to map Australia's ocean floor and protect the endangered Australian sea lion by letting the sea lions themselves do the work. 8 female sea lions from 2 colonies have become ocean explorers, carrying cameras that capture their underwater adventures. These cameras, attached to the sea lions' backs, have filmed nearly 90 hours across over 500 kilometers, helping scientists chart around 5,000 square kilometers of seabed habitat. The footage reveals the sea lion's world in incredible detail, from weaving through underwater tunnels and gliding over seagrass beds to hunting alongside dolphins around swirling bait balls of fish. Professor Simon Goldsworthy, a marine researcher at the South Australian Research and Development Institute, SARDI, describes watching the footage as the best slow TV ever. He has dedicated 25 years to studying these fast-disappearing creatures, and he believes this camera technology is a major breakthrough. Australian sea lions are critically endangered, their population dwindling by 60% over the past 4 decades due to factors like commercial fishing. Only around 10,000 remain, spread across Australia's southern and western coasts. Mapping their habitat is crucial to protecting them, and these camera-wearing sea lions are proving invaluable for that task. The footage shows the animals' favorite spots, rocky reefs, seagrass meadows, and areas along the continental shelf that they depend on for survival. As Goldsworthy explains, Traditional seabed mapping is costly and time-consuming, often involving cameras towed behind boats or left underwater. But the sea lions, with their knowledge of these underwater landscapes, are efficient and effective guides. They know every nook and cranny of their hunting grounds, building up a mental map over time. With these natural navigators leading the way, scientists gain insights into places that would be hard to reach otherwise. In the project, cameras were attached to female sea lions after they were temporarily sedated. Researchers applied the cameras using a piece of fabric and resin that would eventually fall off with the sea lion's natural molting. After a few days of filming, the females returned to land to nurse their pups, allowing researchers to retrieve the footage. PhD student Nathan Angelakis from the University of Adelaide explains that these sea lion-mounted cameras not only reveal well-known habitats, but also uncover previously uncharted areas. The recordings have even shed light on the sea lion's different tastes in food. Some prefer cod, others octopus, while others dig up prey by rolling rocks with their noses. In one touching scene, a mother sea lion even brought her pup along for a hunt, teaching her young one where to find food and how to catch it. This project, funded by the Australian government's National Environmental Science Program and the Ecological Society of Australia, has brought new knowledge of these vulnerable creatures to light. This footage, recently published in Frontiers in Marine Science, is more than just research. It offers a glimpse into the daily lives of one of Australia's unique and endangered animals, helping scientists piece together a map of the ocean floor through the eyes of its natural inhabitants. But seals aren't the only ones exploring the sea. With modern tech, you now have the option to take a trip down below yourself. 5. Alonissos Underwater Museum. The phrase "Greece always in season" has gained a new meaning with the opening of Greece's first underwater museum. This unique site, home to a preserved ancient shipwreck, aims to draw in curious visitors and could set a trend for more eco-friendly tourism. The museum sits in the Aegean Sea, within the National Marine Park of Alonissos and Northern Sporades, the largest protected marine area in Europe. Previously, the underwater treasures here were off-limits to all but a select few archaeologists due to concerns over looting. Now, however, recreational divers can explore this historic site. At around 80 feet down, divers reach the Peristera Shipwreck, named after a nearby uninhabited islet. Estimated to date back to 425 BC, the site offers a window into the ancient past. Back in 1985, a fisherman named Dimitri Mavrikis stumbled upon the wreck near Peristera's western coast. In 1992, a team led by archaeologist Elpida Hatzidaki conducted excavations that uncovered fascinating details about the vessel. Measuring a massive 39 by 82 feet, it was one of the largest merchant ships of the classical era. The ship's cargo included 4,000 amphorae filled with wine, as well as other valuable tableware, all of which likely served the luxurious feasts of the time. According to archaeologists, this ship, thought to be Athenian, likely sank during the turbulent Peloponnesian War, as Athens and Sparta vied for dominance. Pari Kalamara, head of Greece's Ephorid of Underwater Antiquities, remarked that Peristera's shipwreck offers evidence of large ships in the 5th century BC, much earlier than previously believed. She noted that the preserved amphorae still rest in their original arrangement, revealing the ship's structure to divers in a way that's almost like traveling back to the classical era. Even 2 decades after the last excavation, this so-called Parthenon of shipwrecks holds mysteries about ancient trade routes, ship construction, and the story of its sinking. One question that lingers: what might be hidden beneath those layers of amphorae? Thanks to its designation as an underwater museum, recreational divers with certified guides visited the wreck during a pilot phase in 2020. For those who prefer to stay dry, the museum has set up 5 underwater cameras to stream live footage. Professor George Papalambro, part of the project team, called this a world innovation, allowing people from around the globe to join in the underwater experience, whether they are divers or not. 6. Underwater Military Museum in Jordan. Just off the coast of Aqaba, Jordan, lies a unique new attraction, the world's first underwater military museum. After about a month of planning, 19 pieces of military hardware were carefully sunk in battle formation over a 7-day period leading up to its grand opening on July 25th. The lineup includes everything from tanks and an ambulance to anti-aircraft guns, a combat helicopter, and even a troop carrier. According to officials, the museum is a regional and possibly global first. They believe it could become a major draw for tourists, especially those interested in diving. Aqaba has seen an increase in divers from around the world, and this underwater exhibit could be the next big thing for adventure seekers. Environmental precautions were a top priority, with all hazardous materials removed to meet best practices. The museum's location was chosen for its minimal marine life, aiming to reduce any impact on local ecosystems. Abdullah Abu Awali, who leads Aqaba's beach administration, explained that this area is relatively poor with marine organisms and lacks coral reefs, making it ideal for this purpose. The goal, he said, is to reduce the pressure on the natural coral reefs by creating new artificial sites to spread out tourism's environmental impact. The museum sits between 15 and 28 meters below the surface, allowing visitors to experience it through snorkeling, glass-bottom boats, or diving. Officials from ASEZA, Aqaba Special Economic Zone Authority, hinted that more military relics could be added to the site over time, making it a growing attraction. A similar project, the sinking of a C-130 Hercules transport plane in 2017, has already proven to be a big hit with divers. 7. Museo Subacuático de Arte Mexico. The Underwater Museum of Art, or MUSA, sits near Isla Mujeres in Quintana Roo, and it's like nothing you've seen before. This underwater gallery is a collection of sculptures by various artists that create a surreal, almost dreamlike landscape beneath the Caribbean Sea. Imagine drifting past life-size figures, giant heads, and other sculptures, all right there on the ocean floor. If you're up for exploring Musa, you'll find nearly 500 sculptures arranged across 3 main galleries: Salon Manchones, Salon Nizuc, and Salon Punta Sam. Together, these installations cover roughly 420 square meters of ocean floor. The whole museum was crafted with nature in mind, using special materials that encourage coral growth. Over time, these sculptures have transformed into artificial reefs, becoming home to colorful fish, algae, and vibrant coral. Every visit to Musa is a unique experience as the sculptures continue to evolve, blending further into the marine environment. So, what can you expect to see? There's an array of intriguing sights, like a crowd of people, cars, a man lounging in front of a TV, and enormous hands reaching up from the seafloor. This museum is constantly changing, a living artwork shaped by the sea itself. There are a few ways to explore Musa, depending on how close you want to get. You can hop on a glass-bottom boat if you want a drive view, or go snorkeling, which takes about 4 hours, including time at Musa. For certified and non-certified divers, a 5-hour diving tour offers an even closer look. There's also a jungle tour that starts with a scenic mangrove journey before you snorkel at the museum. Musa opened in 2010 as a major collaboration between the Parque Nacional Costa Occidental, Cancun's Nautical Associates, and British artist Jason DeCaires Taylor. It began as a way to combat coral reef degradation by building artificial reefs and doubling as a tourist attraction. Taylor was the first to create sculptures using materials that support coral growth, setting a foundation for others to join. Since then, artists like Elier Amado Gil, Karen Salinas, Rodrigo Quiñones, Roberto Diaz, and Salvador Quiroz have contributed their works. Now drawing around 400,000 visitors each year, Musa has become one of the world's most visited underwater attractions, like ever. 8. Underwater Archaeological Park of Baia, Italy. In its prime, Baia was the ultimate playground for Rome's elite, a kind of ancient Las Vegas where the rich and famous came to unwind and indulge. Nestled over natural volcanic vents, this lavish resort city was renowned for its therapeutic hot springs, which made it easy for the Romans to construct elaborate spas. Notable figures like Nero, Cicero, and Caesar didn't just visit. Many built sprawling vacation homes here, drawn by the healing waters and luxury of Baia. But all good things come to an end. In the 8th century, Baia faced an attack from a Muslim army, leading to its eventual downfall. By the 1500s, the once glamorous city was deserted, and Mother Nature began to reclaim it. The volcanic vents that had made Bahia so popular also led to rising water levels, submerging much of the ancient city under the bay. Today, Bahia's remains are hidden beneath the waves, but the site has transformed into one of the world's rare underwater archaeological parks. Visitors can explore the submerged ruins and remarkably preserved statues via glass-bottom boats, snorkeling, or even scuba diving. For those lucky enough to dive in, it's like swimming through a sunken museum. Although Bahia no longer serves as a luxurious retreat, its underwater relics continue to fascinate and enchant explorers from around the world. 9. The Museum of Underwater Art, Assan de Caires. Taylor is a sculptor with a unique twist. He prefers placing his art beneath the waves rather than in a museum, with a 16-year career filled with groundbreaking underwater installations. He's brought his sculptures to life in oceans worldwide, from hurricane-ravaged Grenada to the deep fjords of Norway. This year, de Caires Taylor took his creativity to Australia's John Brewer Reef, setting up his latest masterpiece, the Museum of Underwater Art, right in and around the local coral greenhouse. The initial MOUA series features 8 sculptures called the Ocean Sentinels, all inspired by people who've made real contributions to ocean conservation. Each figure tells a story, like Dr. David Vaughan, who founded the Plant a Million Corals initiative, or Professor John Charlie Varon, whose work focuses on saving 400 coral species. Even 9-year-old Molly Steer, who led the Straw No More campaign to reduce plastic use in Australian schools, is represented. True to his commitment to honoring local culture, de Caires Taylor also included Jamie Marshall, an indigenous Wulguru Kaba and Yunbenen leader, as a nod to the long-standing connection between the community and the sea. These sculptures aren't just beautiful, they're built with sustainability in mind. Collaborating closely with marine experts, de Caires Taylor used eco-friendly, pH-neutral cement that's as sturdy as it is ocean-friendly. Each piece, weighing between 1 and 4 tons, is crafted to support the surrounding marine ecosystem, encouraging fish, coral, and other sea life to make the sculptures their home in what's known as reef gardening. Transported from his studio in the UK, the sculptures are anchored with corrosion-resistant steel to withstand the changing ocean environment, ensuring they stay put as marine life begins to flourish around them. 10. Museo Atlantico in Spain. On the ocean floor near Colorados Bay, off the coast of Lanzarote in the Canary Islands, lies a surreal underwater world filled with hundreds of human sculptures. This unique setting, where fish and sea creatures glide among the figures in a continuous, mesmerizing underwater ballet, is the Museo Atlantico. Museo Atlantico is Jason de Caires Taylor's first underwater art installation in Europe, featuring over 300 individual sculptures grouped into 10 larger installations, all arranged 12 to 15 meters deep off the southwest coast near Yaiza. The installation began in early 2016, supported by Lanzarote's Centers of Art, Culture, and Tourism, and is now open to snorkelers, scuba divers, and even glass-bottom boat tours. Crafted from high-density, pH-neutral concrete without any metal or corrosive materials, these sculptures have minimal impact on the surrounding marine environment. In fact, they do quite the opposite. Over time, as marine life colonizes the statues, they transform into a thriving artificial reef, blending art with the natural world in an area designated a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. De Caires Taylor's sculptures slowly evolve, changing color and texture as they become covered with coral and biological growth, ultimately providing shelter and breeding grounds for marine life. His website describes this process as a tribute to those who dream and those whose dreams remain in the ocean's depths. Since the first sculptures were submerged, the marine population around them has grown by over 200% in just a year. Now, this eerie yet enchanting site is frequented by angel sharks, barracudas, octopuses, butterfly rays, and schools of sardines, adding to the beauty of this underwater haven. 11. Florida Panhandle. Shipwreck Trail. Pirates, spies, and tales of hidden treasure aren't just the stuff of legends in Florida's Panhandle. The Panhandle Shipwreck Trail brings this sense of adventure to life, spanning a series of dive sites from Port St. Joe to Pensacola. These waters hide vessels that met their fate through storms, espionage, and other mysterious events, just waiting to be explored. While the Panhandle's beaches are famously stunning, slipping into scuba gear and diving below the surface introduces visitors to a world where history mingles with mystery. Florida's coastline is no stranger to environmental challenges, from destructive hurricanes to man-made disasters. The Deepwater Horizon oil spill in 2010 dealt a significant blow, impacting marine life, local economies, and the environment. In 2012, in an effort to boost tourism and spotlight the region's maritime history, the Florida Department of State's Underwater Archaeology team collaborated with Panhandle communities to develop the Shipwreck Trail. They modeled it on the success of South Florida's Keys National Marine Sanctuary Shipwreck Trail, where divers collect passport stamps for each dive. To curate the trail, the team consulted local dive shops for input on sites with rich ecological diversity and historical significance. The allure of shipwrecks is undeniable, as they provide a blend of excitement and romance. The underwater archaeology team connected with local dive shops and charter captains to nominate wrecks that would appeal to both novice and seasoned divers. They focused on wrecks that not only had enough structure to make for an interesting dive, but also offered a diverse range of marine life and historical intrigue. Melissa Price, senior underwater archaeologist for the Florida Department of State, has a deep appreciation for shipwrecks, having transitioned from land-based archaeology to the underwater field after watching a documentary on the Titanic. This passion translates into her work on the Shipwreck Trail, which allows visitors to experience the fascinating Gulf Coast marine life. Many wrecks are accessible to snorkelers, offering a close-up look at marine biodiversity. Stretching across Pensacola, Destin, Panama City Beach, and Port St. Joe, the Shipwreck Trail invites divers to embark on an interactive journey. Participating dive shops offer Shipwreck Trail passports, which include details about each wreck along with space for personal notes, turning it into a memorable keepsake. After each dive, visitors can receive a passport sticker from participating shops. Completing the trail allows divers to receive a certificate and a t-shirt, marking their adventure along Florida's hidden underwater treasures. Whether you're captivated by history, enchanted by marine life, or simply on the hunt for a unique experience, the Panhandle Shipwreck Trail offers a journey filled with knowledge, discovery, and the magic of the deep sea. Which of these underwater worlds have fascinated you the most? Where are you booking your trip to first?